Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all? Welcome back to the OS Rick Project, episode 81, the only podcast that promises not to ransomware your stuff for Bitcoin. Well, no, I wouldn't do that, guys. I would never ransomware any of y'all. I promise. Because I don't know how to do that. But if I did, guys, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I am recording this episode on Tuesday, the 26th. I hope you guys had a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Able to hang out with some family, get some gifts, or just get off of work and just relax and unwind. Guys, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Guys, let's get into it. What have we been playing? What have y'all been playing? What have I been playing? What's going on in the news and everything that I want to talk about? First, I just want to talk about what I have been playing, guys. Armored Core 6. They recently had a PvP update where they added some parts. I've been testing them out. I've been having fun trying to get S rank. I don't really do PvP, but I do like trying to get the S rank on these missions, and they are a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, guys. There's some times where I have to like look up at it guides just to kind of like break it down to tell me like what do I need to focus on, because there's some things that the game doesn't par for the course for FromSoft, right? They're not gonna tell you exactly what you need to do to get the S rank, right? I mean, some of the general things are, don't be wasteful with ammo. Don't use repair kits, or keep the repair kits down. Don't use resupplying. Don't use checkpoints. Stuff like don't die. But other than that, there's sometimes some missions where they require you to do things really fast, or not get hit by certain things, or certain weapon, or don't get hit by certain attack or something. So trying to trying to find where all the other like battle logs are at. So there's some things to it. So I have to be looking that up to see how it's doing. But it's getting there slowly, very slowly. I did recently get all of the achievements for Armored Core from Elden Ring, the best game ever. I was doing something and I forgot what it was. What was it? Oh yeah, I think I found a weapon because I was watching a lore video and I was like, man, I haven't seen that weapon before. Where is that? And I picked it up and I unlocked an achievement for getting all the legendary weapons. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm like 3 achievements away from getting everything, finding the talismans, all the sorceries. So I was like, you know what? Let me go do that. And sure enough, I went back in there. And oh, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all, I put almost 300 hours, several playthroughs in that game, and actually over 300 hours because if you include what I played on the PlayStation. And there is still some stuff I have not seen, have not discovered. That game is, guys, if you have not played that game, I know I've said this already. Play it. It is an experience. All right, guys. Please do yourself a favor and pick up. I think it's on sale now. The Steam Winter Sale is going on right now. I did pick up some things on there too, guys. I picked up the Phantom Liberty Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. That was like on 15% off, so I picked that up. I've actually been playing that game a lot. I know I mentioned that in previous podcasts, guys, but in previous episodes, Cyberpunk 2077 now, after 2.1 update, after the Phantom Liberty update, it is a fun game. I've been having a blast. I'm working on my second playthrough, and I'm working on the DLC on my first playthrough. So I got two files that I'm just bouncing around between right now. The first file I played it, mostly run and gun, playing with rifles and submachine guns and blowing things up and being super techie, or being super cybernetic implants. And on the second one, on this next playthrough, I feel like playing it. First one I played as a male too. This time I'm gonna play as Lady V. But only I want to see if they have any dialogue changes. Which I heard some people say the dialogue is better for female V than male V. So I'm gonna go see for myself. And this one I'm gonna play more hacking and stuff like that, more of a Netrunner style. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I downloaded the DLC and I just barely started it, guys. So hopefully over the holiday weekend, I should be able to crank in and put some more. I want to put a lot of hours because, like I said, that main campaign, I genuinely had a blast. The game where it's at now is a good spot. So I would recommend it, guys. especially your and on PC. Play it on PC because I don't play with mods, but just the visual of it of that game, and I know visuals are always, to me are always backseat to the gameplay. But man, looking at Night City at night, or just driving around and just seeing everything, it is eye candy. It's phenomenal. I like it. What else have I been playing, guys? Oh, Octopath Traveler 2. Um, Octopath Traveler 2, guys. I know that flew under a lot of people's radars this year. It came out back in, I want to say, February. There were, um, if you're playing on Switch, also there is a playable demo. I don't know if it's also available for PlayStation or PC, but on the Switch, you can get a demo. You can play for like 3 hours, and whatever progress you made in there, you can save and carry over to the main game. Oh, excuse me, guys. I got something in my nose. No, no, just not. It's not what you think it is. It's just not. Excuse me. Uh, but I've been playing Octopath Traveler 2. There's some things that I'm not a big fan of. Uh, Especially like the different abilities that everyone has, and then swapping it between day and night, because then they'll get a second set of abilities, which I think is cool. But after a while, I'm literally telling myself, okay, who has what ability available during day and during night? Because I'm constantly switching characters. Besides the first character you pick, which is odd, you're always locked into that first character. You can't swap them out. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Guys, if you were watching the video, I had to go just re-edit some things. I don't feel like I'm not gonna edit. I don't care. I don't edit. I don't edit. All right. There's a lot of people out there that do a whole bunch of edit and they do a really good job at it, but I'm not. I don't care. Why you got low numbers? I don't care about the numbers either, dude. I do this because I like doing it. I'm not here chasing stuff. All right, guys, end rant. What was I talking about? Octopath. Yeah. So different people have different abilities depending on whether it's day or night cycle and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you guys. I really like some of them abilities are from the previous games, steal or, scrutinize or charm or whatever. But there's some other abilities where I'm just like, wait, when can I use this or when should I use it? But what they do right in this game is they have a lot more interactions between between all the travelers, and sometimes some of them, two of them, might have some dialogue, and not only will they have some dialogue, but you can actually go to, they actually have like missions, not well, quests you can do with them. As long as those two are in your party, you can go, and they'll have, the other two characters will just tag along, but those two that are having a conversation, it'll play out and like deepen the bonds between them two. Not that there's like a bond level or anything, but they just have more interaction, which was, like I said, that was my only problem I had with the first Octopath Traveler. It felt like they should have just focused on four characters and really brought the give them more dialogue between them. On this one, it feels like they're getting everybody mixed in and they're pairing up in different ways, and that's what I do like. I am having a great time with that. So Octopath Traveler on the Switch, guys, and it's not a bad performance. I mean, there's a second or two to like load up between us, when you go to a different area. But besides that, it's fine. It runs really well on the Switch. I've had no issues with it. Um, but that's it for me for what I've been playing. I've been looking at the Steam sales, see what I could pick up besides Cyberpunk. Thinking about picking up Blasphemous 2 and possibly Lords of the Fallen, but we'll see. I got to the fourth to make up my mind. So, anyways, guys, let's talk about what's going on in the news. So I talked about it briefly earlier. So there's been some ransomware hacks for Naughty Dog. I'm sure you guys seen the story already. I'm look, the story's already out there. Go look it up. There's a lot more better people talking about it and what's going on. Okay, I just want to throw in my 2 cents on what's going on. The whole situation. Yes, it did suck that people's private information was released. That sucks. 100%. I agree. But I think what this leak revealed was how much of the X-Men's licensing is going to be at Sony for the next couple of years. And that does not really sit well with me, because I don't know if you guys are, I'm sure you're not, but probably all are fans of the Marvel versus Capcom series, the fighting games, tag team switch up crossover game. Really fun. Um, I don't think we're gonna ever see that ever again. The last one we saw, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, which I enjoyed, but it was not well received. Of course, I'm gonna put my I'm gonna point my finger at Disney at why we couldn't get a certain type of characters from the Marvel side of join, because I'm sure they wanted to push Avengers instead of the X-Men, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I don't think, with Disney licensing out to Sony for Insomniac for the games that they're going to be making, and they also had footage of Wolverine that came out. And honestly, guys, I the game is like in alpha. It's they just what they're working on now. I'm not gonna judge it. I'm not gonna judge it because the game's gonna be something else. That's you're not getting any reaction from me on how the game looked, or what it is, because we don't know until the final product is. But it does, just from what it does look like, it looks, something right up of what Sony is comfortable. A third person view over the shoulder, and similar to like what they've done with Spider-Man, and similar to what they've done with God of War. That's all I can tell you. What's what it looks like. As for actually gameplay wise, we're gonna have to see, and I'm just gonna hold judgment until then. Again, I just want to talk about mostly on how and the budget that Insomniac and Sony had for Spider-Man 2. 33 was it 33 330 million for one game, compared to like these other games that have been coming out, which are like a fraction of that. I'm starting to believe maybe these are just licensing fees, and this is how they're going to make their money back, is by charging everybody a $70 game. At first I was of the mindset of, what, as a consumer, I'm not too crazy about the $70 price, but you know what, games are getting bigger, you need more teams, and it makes sense that you have to pay a little bit extra to get more, get more quality content. I'm at the point now where I'm not I'm like divorcing myself from that idea, because if you're spending that much money, and I think if you guys look at some of the stuff, I mean, I remember seeing some, talk about how Sony wants to like upping the price, maybe up to $100 per game, and the next series of Spider-Man games are gonna be like in installments of like what, $50 every, like $50 of, like they're gonna be selling it in parts. So I that kind of, when they start putting the light on the kind of greed that's going on, man, that really just makes me not to want to get anything from Sony like ever again. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The only time I played the PlayStation 5 this year was for when I played Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which came out in 2020, and when I played Final Fantasy 16. Maybe here and there if I wanted to play Elden Ring on the console, but that's it. I mean, I played it, most of my hours were either Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Final Fantasy 16. I didn't touch the console all that much this year. What I'm seeing from Sony first party and the way they're going with it, especially when it comes on the Insomniac side, that to me just feels like, man, I'm not a fan of that. Again, what's y'all's ideas? What's y'all's thought process on games coming $70, becoming $70? Like I said, I was like kind of accepting it because just knowing how big things are getting. But man, when you find out that it took $330 million, are they just paying for licensing? Is that what they're paying mostly for? And then they got to sell X amount of units. And I mean, they aired out the contract, guys, and I suggest go look it up because it is insane. It's ridiculous. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I am not. I do not want Sony having. And I'm not the biggest Marvel fan or X-Men fan, but Jesus Christ, I want to see something else, man. Not just these generic story oriented, push X for the next cutscene kind of game, man. I want to see something fun, something good. But another thing I want to talk about too, guys, about the whole leaks, how and I'm sure you've probably seen some of the stuff already, but there's some folks like at the kind of funny guys, like Greg Miller and his crew and stuff like that, how they and some other folks who are talking about like how they don't want to cover the leaks, but then they went ahead and covered leaks from like Capcom from the year before, or leaks from Grand Theft Auto, or leaks from so and so. But somehow, when it comes to Insomniac, they don't want to talk about it. And then you kind of find out like they're in the game as little fanboys in the side, like in some of the side missions for the first Spider-Man, and how they have people developers from the game onto their podcast to get you get first scoops of what's going on. When you start seeing stuff like that, you start realizing, man, you aren't you like your job as a journalist is to like question everything, not have this buddy buddy relationship, but question everything and see what's going on, and not like choose what to cover and not cover. Again, look, if they could have just been upfront and said, look, we are close to these folks, they're friends of ours, we don't want to talk about it, I would be like, okay, you know what, at least they're being 100% upright about it. But when you start doing stuff like this, where you're like, all of a sudden you have standards about covering leaks, I'm like, I don't know, man, that just does not sit well. And honestly, like, I used to be a fan of like IGN and Greg Miller and stuff like that, like a long time ago. I thought it was pretty cool. I could hear about video games. That's awesome, nice. They actually talk about stuff. But then over the years, you start realizing, man, these guys are kind of like biased towards something. They're kind of like very much like fanboys and stuff like that. And then I just kind of like, you know what? I don't care about their opinion. Their opinion does not matter when it comes to video games. I just don't care anymore. And then you kind of see like where it's at now, and having this kind of, and look, I'm just a guy that likes to likes talking about video games. There's some stuff I do want to talk about, some things I don't want to talk about that I find interesting, but never do I say like I'm a game journalist or this is how I make my money. I just talk about what I want to talk about, right, guys? That's always been the forefront when it comes to me. But seeing these guys, dude, it's just complete like hypocrisy on what they choose to cover. And I think that's complete bullshit. And I think it's just what they're trying to do is just damage control. Because my take that I really want to know about, again, it sucks that people's information was released. 100%, that does suck. And and of course Sony couldn't pay the ransom because who's to say they're not gonna ask for more money later and then release it anyway? So I mean, you're in a bad situation for Sony. But when you start seeing how the contracts are drawn up and how much money they're spending and what's going on, that I really wish these game journals would have actually like talked about and covered, because I think that's important. I really do. Because you're trying to see exactly firsthand on how these corporations don't treat their player base as customers, but they treat them as open wallets, and see how can they extract the most money out of them while disguising their game behind a franchise that people like really really love. When again, very unfortunate, guys. So just look, guys, be critical of everything. Think about it. Think about it when they talk about something and don't want and deflect and want to put the conversation elsewhere. Like, question why don't you want to talk about this? What else, guys? I saw this. David Jaffe, creator of Kratos, is apparently not a fan of the current Kratos. And you know what? I never played the OG God of War games, but I know he's kind of like this over the top hulking badass dude, that bang chicks and kill gods. Okay, not my type of game, but people enjoyed it. I did play the 2018 God of War. I thought it was okay. I had some good times with it. But apparently this God of War Ragnarok, I don't know if you guys played it. I have decided not to play it just because I do not care the direction and how kind of woke Sony has gone over the years. I'm not a fan of their stuff. But apparently even David Jaffe, creator of Kratos, says he does not like this current Kratos, which is weird. And it's funny because some people tell him that I saw some people on Twitter talk saying that David Jaffe doesn't know what he's talking about. The guy who created Kratos doesn't know what he's talking about. That's funny. At the end of the day, guys, and I thought about this too. There's some people that talk about it. I think Edamani TV and stuff like that. But they talk about how on his videos and get some quotes from Jaffe. And I'm part of the mindset too, right? Sometimes these characters kind of have to like evolve and change and grow. But at the end of the day, you know what these characters are. You know what got them to the table, what made them popular, what made them fun, what made them like over the, larger than life and popular and playable and loved. And they still have to be some of that. And when you just completely just self-insert your feelings into a character and it becomes somebody else, okay, cool, good for you. Good for you. But I thought that was funny, guys. Even the creator of Kratos is not happy on the direction he's going. So think about that, guys. Think about that. What else? Oh, I did see something last week, guys. I want to talk about it. I did see that Sony, guys. I'm not like a Sony hating. I'm not a Sony hater. Okay. I'm not. I'm not like an Xbox fanboy. Okay. I've had an Xbox 360. I have a PlayStation 5. Okay. I hate them all. Okay. I hate them all equal. How about that? I hate them all equally. I'll call them all out. Okay. Because I've called out Xbox before. I've called out PlayStation. PC, we won't talk about PC, all right? Don't talk about PC. All right. All right. Anyways, guys, I saw last week that Sony is working on a patent that aims to change game difficulty in real time as you play. Oh boy. Oh boy. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that? I'm going to give you the safe answer and be like, as long as as long as it's an option, you can opt out or in, I'm okay with it. So that's my safe answer, right? My real answer is I think that's complete bullshit. I think that is dumb. I think if you cannot play a game, if it's too hard for you, maybe you shouldn't play the game. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you should go play something else. Or maybe you should like read a book or something. I mean, I don't know why we feel like we have to be like, why in this day and age do we feel like we have to accommodate for everyone? Now, look, I get it. If you have like a physical handicap that makes it hard for you to play, like using adaptive controllers or something like that to, maybe control your character better, or having like a colorblind mode or something like that, or having something for a visual cue because if you can't hear or because you're deaf, or vice versa, for like handicap accessibility, I'm all for it. I have no issue with that, none. But if you're making a game easy because it's too hard, what what are you doing here? Like, it's called a game. You either win or lose. I mean, that's it. I hate how we feel like, and especially Sony, right? Especially, I don't know if you guys ever saw like some reviews of Ragnarok, but going back to shitting on Sony, but some of the reviews where they talk about how you come to a puzzle and like the side character Atreus or whatever is like already telling you how to solve the puzzle before like you even get started. Like you feel them like holding your hand, like that's annoying. Like, let me play the game. Look, on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, if you get stumped for a while, like even like the game will ask you like, "Hey, do you want to hit? Yes or no?" That I have no that I could work around it. I could play with that. I could deal. I could deal. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, guys. Anyways, going back to the whole patent for making games easier on the fly, and like not Mortal Kombat. Resident Evil has a part where like if you die too many times, it'll say, "Do you want to lower the difficulty?" Yes or no, you can choose. Okay, that makes sense. Like I hit it yes once. It was a mistake. I was jamming X to go to the next area, and I accidentally hit yes. All right, I didn't mean to do it. Scrub. But A game to do it on the fly in real time. Like, ooh, ooh. I think we're at an age now where people are just they want to see their movies and have the least amount of friction as possible, and that's it. And then call it a good game at the end of the day. It's like, what's the game part? You just watched the movie and you got prompted to hit square or X a couple of times along the way. I don't know. I'm really not a fan of it, guys. I think that if it's too hard, either put on story mode, easy mode, or you know what? Don't even play a game. Don't even play it. Like what? Like do something else. Like I get tired. Like I don't want the normies to ruin video games. I love video games. It doesn't have to be for everyone. If everyone can't get it, fine. Screw them. They can't play. What else, guys? Oh, Naughty Dog cancels Tulu multiplayer. Big whoop. Yeah, I think games as a service need to go fly off a cliff somewhere. I hate them. I hate live service games. I hate games as a service. I hate anything service in games. I don't want to go to a game and then load up a freaking store and buy things. I no, that's ridiculous. That's dumb. Get that out of here. What else? Oh yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. So, what's the name? The main dude that does Baldur's Gate 3. You guys seen him before? He's always walking around in freaking armor when he's accepting his game awards and doing interviews and stuff. That guy. Well, apparently he said that Baldur's Gate 3 is not going on Game Pass. Good for him. Good for him. I am not a fan of Game Pass. I think, in my opinion, you are they are draining you of money for mediocre games. That's what they're doing. I'd rather spend $60, even $70 for a really good game and enjoy it instead of getting milked $15 a month, $9 a month for a bunch of like mid-tier games. That's my opinion. I think Gamer Pass. Oh, it's a good deal. You get what games do you get day one that you can't get anywhere else, and they're actually great. I'm sure there's a couple there, here and there. Okay, cool, cool. Like Liza P, I heard that you get that one day one. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. I can live without that game. Trust me. But I don't know. Game Pass is whack. And Baldur's Gate 3 not going there? Fine. Perfect. Perfect. I'm not even a fan of Baldur's Gate 3, guys. I'm not a fan. I could critique that game. But there's some things that did well. And I do believe that team did put in a lot of effort, a lot of work with the voice acting, with what they did, staying true to the source material. I see I backseat gamed. You know, I watched my wife play it. So yeah, I think these guys should get every penny that's coming their way because they've earned it. And I don't think corporate Microsoft should get anything off of them. They shouldn't off of anybody. Starfield reviews are now mostly negative. Oh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that though. It feels good. You know, I'm the kind of guy that likes to say "I told you so." And with Starfield, I told you so, guys. When they're charging you $100 to play test your game, and it's Bethesda, and they're still using the same engine, same everything, and they want to charge you $100 for it, or $70, whatever. And now the game is mostly negative on Steam. Damn, dude. Doesn't that feel great? I like that because that game was garbage, dude. It's still garbage. And you know what? At first, when I first saw it, I was kind of hyped for it. I was like, yeah, this looks cool. All right, man. I can't wait. And then as the day got closer, I was like, yo, you know what? I don't think I want to play this. I don't think I want to play this. And sure enough, dude, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I dodged that bullet, bro. I'm glad I dodged that bullet because I'm like, oh yeah, you have 1,000 planets. What's on those 1,000 planets? Well, you know, they're there. Cool. All right. Nice. Oh, don't forget to do New Game Plus. Don't forget to do New Game Plus. Yeah, Starfield. Like I want to be excited for the next Elder Scrolls game, but man, Bethesda is gonna have to like turn it around and do something that really amazes me and blows me away because right now the direction they're in, I'm not interested. Not interested. It's gonna be a hard pass for me. And again, you know, and this also gonna come down to the pricing. This is stupid. I'm not paying $100 to play test your game. I'm not paying, you know, whatever you want on day one just so it could be all launchy. I mean, launch all full of bugs and not optimized. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm fine. But yeah, Starfield. Go figure. That's a big flop, wasn't it? That was a flop. What else we got, guys? Anything we want to talk about before we wrap it up? The winter sale. Oh yeah, 2B is coming out on Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, but you have to buy the. I don't know if you could buy just her or you have to buy the whole character pass. But the game's $49.99, which is cheaper than when it first launched back in March of 2020, worst possible time. But the game seems to be mostly positive, well received. So we'll see. But again, it's still kind of like the first couple of weeks of the game. I did download the demo version, the free version, which you still have access to the training mode, to some of the character trials, to playing online, but you have a limited access to the characters. They just rotate four characters, and they have simple inputs or technical inputs, whatever. And you know what? When it comes to Grand Blue with simple inputs, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the game, that's what the game is. That's fine. We know what it's what's intended for, to get people in there, and you want to play as have access to both technical and simple inputs. I'm fine. The only time I have issues with it is like on Street Fighter and stuff. I'm at the, and you guys know how I feel a bit about modern controls in Street Fighter. I'm done. I'm terrible. Hate it. What else, guys? What else? Is that it? Is that it for this year? I think that's it. If anything, I'll make another podcast and we'll talk about it. Guys, I know the podcast has been kind of spotty here and there. It's mostly just on YouTube now. But like I like doing this, but I don't want to like kill myself doing this. I just like going on, talk about something that's on my chest, that's on my mind about the video games that I'm playing, and just want to put it out there. And people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. I don't care. If YouTube wants to pick up put in the algorithms to get noticed, not noticed, I don't care. Like, I'm just doing this because I want to put it out there. That's all it's all for. I'm not trying to get internet famous. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I just want to talk about how I feel about video games and just share it with you guys. And if y'all don't like it, hey, that's fine. You don't have to like it. And if you got something that kind of like, you have some ideas that run similar to mine, let me know what you think. Even if you don't agree, maybe you think Insomniac having access to X-Men till 2030 is a good thing. Let me know. Tell me why you think it's a good thing. Maybe you think Starfield is actually a really great game and it gets better once you get past the 30th hour. Or maybe New Game Plus is worth it. Or maybe you think having, baby mode on games is a good idea. Let me know what you think, because maybe maybe I'm missing something, and it's very possible, right? I could be. I screw up a lot. Okay, guys, trust me, I screw up a lot. But I'm willing to listen, and if you guys have a different opinion, hey, maybe it'll be worth it, right? Anyways, guys, of course it'll be worth it, right? As long as we're having discussion, because I think that's the important thing. At the end of the day, the important thing is talking about video games and see where we're coming from. And at a certain point, yes, just talking about it is important, but there are also things that we have to just kind of like realize. Look, man, having these big old corporations behind games and what they're doing with it is not good. It's not good for the consumer, for the player base, for anybody. It's just this just not putting this stuff in. It's not putting it in a good light, especially how big these games are, and how they're getting launched, how they launch now, fix later mentality. Like, that's just not good for anybody, and that's something we should not get used to. That's nothing that should be the norm. Having storefronts on video games is also something we should not be accepting, or having microtransactions. That should not be the norm. It shouldn't. It's not. We shouldn't at all. Period. But anyways, guys, that's gonna probably be the last episode of the year. Yes, it's okay. It is the last episode of the year. We'll come back next year for another episode, and we'll see how the podcast goes, guys. Right now, I'm thinking maybe I'll do one every 2 weeks, depending on what stuff comes out. I don't want to put something out every week if it is just something else that you could hear from somebody else. And look, a lot of it you probably have heard from somebody else, but if I want to go on a rant, it's something that I really feel like strongly about, and I want to share with you guys. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. That's it for today. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. If you want to help out the channel, you could just tell your buddies about it, share all that good stuff. And even though I don't care about the algorithm, maybe you want people to listen, right? And share stuff like that. Anyways, guys, I'm done. Have a good night. Play some video games, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.